Hi, and welcome to Chain Reactions, a weekly live stream from Myosin.xyz, the leading global marketing network, and hosted by yours truly, Blake, and my co-host, Polina. Tune in each week as we jam on the latest happenings in the wild and wonderful world of Web3. We're live on Unlonely.app every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, and release the pod every following week on Tuesdays. Now, let's talk Chain Reactions. Some channels and just let them know we're going live. All right. How you been, Justin? Where are you at in the world today? Just back in the
New York City. Back in the city.
Yeah. Bum, bum, bum. All right. I heard it was like really hot, but it's getting better now, yeah?
Oh yeah, way better. The week after ECC was like awful. It was so hot and humid. Sweltering.
It was like 33 degrees, right? In the city, it must be really tough.
Yeah, it was the humidity factor too. Like it's like 8 p.m. and you're sweating.
I know the feeling. I'm in Malta. That's true. Thank God for that.
I'm reporting
Where
you
are you
live.
at, Blake?
Dude, it was a whole stressful thing, but I am out in
what a flex.
out in Costa Spain, Bravo, Spain. Well, I'm on vacation technically, so this is like my commitment to like we don't stop. The content machine never ends. So, and thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate. I know it's a bit last minute, but I think we're gonna have fun with it. So,
we always do.
Always do, man. Yeah, Rive till 3 a.m. That was a good time. Brussels was fun. Okay.
It was fun.
Well, let's do this. I think the way we normally do this is Polina has like a fig jam that she'll pull up, and then she'll kind of walk us through, and we can just like react and have fun and just chat away. So yeah, Polina, I'm gonna hand it over to you. If you
also, yeah, Justin, I saw your message, but too late because I already added a bunch of story things in there. But we can totally like skip that and just whatever you feel like.
Just roll with it. I'm flexible. Wherever you want to take us,
okay.
Take us.
I'm gonna share my screen then, so we all see what's happening. Okay, you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, we see it.
Nice. Okay, so the schedule for today. Since we have Justin on, I think, actually, Blake, I think it would be cool to give maybe a quick overview of who Justin is for the podcast listeners, so we can crop that out and introduce him to the audience. I know all like the stream listeners for sure know who Justin is.
Should I do it or should Justin do it? Just have him introduce himself, right?
Justin is like, okay.
I mean, I'm down for either.
I'll do either. All right. Well, let me kick it off, and I'll throw it over to Justin. He can like populate anything I'm missing. So
yeah, let's do it.
So for anyone listening who is not aware, big welcome to our friend Justin, a friend, a work colleague, a partner, the co-founder of Safary, one of the leading marketing communities in all of Web3. Lots of awesome people in that space. A lot of overlap between Myosin and Safary. Justin is doing some really cool stuff with the community, and then also he's building some really awesome analytics and attribution tooling, which I'm sure he can tell you about. And yeah, we're just vibing out in Brussels. I think, what was that, 2 weeks ago? We're vibing out in New York and probably whatever the next conference is. So, dude, you got to hop on over to Fest. I'll be there next week. But otherwise, I'll see you at the next thing. Yeah.
Definitely.
Does that do it justice?
That was perfect.
Amazing. Anything I missed?
Awesome.
Any comments?
That's perfect. No, that's it. All right. Community builder and platform builder.
And lots of cool overlap.
So,
yeah.
Speaking of that, our first segment is actually how community fuels growth in general. And Justin, I'm putting you on a spot a bit here, but I saw your tweet that did quite well recently, where you talked about how community is the gateway to organic growth, and it consists of explorers, supporters, and promoters. We do look into like the social and content funnels of brands on this stream/podcast. So, curious to hear your first person perspective of how that Web3 funnel looks for Safary.
Yeah, I think this was one of the core realizations I had recently is I think that in Web3, people have designed these funnels to be a little bit too tight. But when community is truly organic, You have people that begin to explore your community, understand your platform, what you're all about, the people that are in it. And over time, if they really like you, then they will return the favor and share more about you. So I mean this like less in the like waitlist mechanic and more about, truly authentic community building is a long-term trust exercise with the people in your community and surrounding circles. And that's really the opportunity where you gain true supporters over the long term that continue talking about you for months and years to come. Um, for us in Safari, we began community first, as you have here, community first, product second. And we structure our company that way too. Our mission is to support growth leaders, whether they're our customers of our product or not. I think that it's really important, particularly in crypto, but for growth overall, to take, I wouldn't even say like a customer centric view. I would actually say like a user centric view of I want to be the person who understands the psychology of Web3 growth leaders who are our users. They're also our customers, better than anybody else. Um, and from that, I mean that our users have a lot of different needs that Safari, the platform, can't support. For example, when I think about the challenges that Web3 growth leaders face, they're looking for knowledge to do their job really well. They're looking for a network of other great people to help support them on that journey. And they're looking for the tools and data to help them do and deploy the marketing strategies that they um, are crafting. But tooling is only one small piece of the puzzle, in my opinion, for the needs of a user overall to build a sustainable career and growth. And so our community tries to tackle those other things that tech will never solve. And we do that via community to solve the network and knowledge piece.
Awesome. So it's a full circle, full suite of growth marketing support. I'm curious, when you were starting out Safari, did you already have a product in mind that you want to build? Was it on the map already?
Yeah, the funny thing actually about most people might not know the story about Safari, but Safari actually began as a DAO tooling company. We thought to ourselves, we came into crypto knowing that we are going to be product builders. We built this DAO tool. We started going to market with it and started talking to these different DAOs and said, hey, you guys should use our DAO tool. And they're like, great. What other communities are using your tool? We're like, nobody. You're going to be the first. And obviously, those conversations all died very quickly thereafter. And I had begun writing on Twitter as like a pseudonymous identity called JKey, which Blake might be one of the few that remembers. And so then I had this idea of like, well, I have a pseudonymous identity. Justin, the builder of this DAO tool, um, can exist out in the world, and then JKey can be the founder of the first community that uses our DAO tool. And so we found something. So then we started Safari as a community that I built basically for myself. I wanted to meet other Web3 growth leaders and learn from them like I had done in my Web2 background. And so from there, yeah, we realized that we started using our DAO tool within our community, and we were like, wow, we really hate this tool. This tool is not useful at all. Um, and so we decided to do the Web3 thing, and we went all in on the community and ditched the DAO tool. And that was sort of the beginning of our story of really building a community authentically with no other agenda for the first year plus of our journey was all in on the community.
In hindsight, it was probably the right decision. Looking at the DAO tooling space, although I will say, as a DAO, we need more tools, so it's kind of a conflict. But yeah, we don't need more. We don't need more, but we also
Yeah,
need more. You know what I'm
no,
saying? Like, yeah.
we
More
we
good
got in
ones.
right in the bubble. We like started building 3 weeks in, the DAO tooling bubble like burst basically.
Yeah.
So
And
With
all the
this
DAOs went
new
under.
tool, how does the community contribute into its creation, and how if they do?
Yeah. So they definitely contributed to its creation with their thoughts and ideas and their challenges. And from me being a fly on the wall, I think the communities are some of the best breeding grounds to get product ideas and product insights in a really authentic way. Yeah, a lot of times when you do user interviews, you're asking very specific questions that are often biased, right? You're trying to get somebody to figure out how they would use your tool. And if they like you and they're taking the call, they're probably going to be a little bit overly optimistic about how they might be using your technology or tool. That's something that we definitely saw in the DAO tooling space from our first go around. Is everyone's like, yeah, we definitely need this, we want it, and then as soon as you build it, they don't want it. And that was a good like early lesson for me is, in Safari, I can authentically watch and see what growth leaders do. And I can ask them about their growth strategies in really authentic and casual, genuine manner. And I can then do my own work to see whether our tool fits into that or not. And it helps me be a lot more maybe intellectually honest with myself about whether our tool is solving real problems or not, and iterate faster as a result when I for the times that I've realized that it can't serve certain use cases. So I think that one, just being able to talk to so many people that share our need, whether they're directly using it or not, is massively helpful in building a product. Um, and the other piece too is, yeah, many of our community members are customers. Many of them hear about our platform for the first time after they join the community. So it does create this sort of like virtuous cycle that we see here in the Web3 funnel, and that people see our memes on Twitter, they learn more about
Hmm.
our community, they join the community, they start using the platform. Over time, they shill us on both. They're like, wow, the platform's so great, the community's so great, the team is great. It sort of creates this hourglass funnel where you actually get out a lot more in the end than you would just from that top of funnel. And that's why I think the hourglass is a good representation of that, is that like
Mm.
uh, it all stops in the community, and your job is then to move from uh, that sort of like the end of the impression to like diehard supporters.
Yeah, I think the community is like the concept of community is often romanticized, and on paper everything looks amazing. The engagement is always high. You always get good feedback, all of these things. But you know, as a community builder would know, this is not always true. Um, Never is true, actually. You're dealing with like fires and problems all the time. So I was wondering about two things. If there's anything that you think you could have done differently, what would it be? And what are like the common, what are the things that you're dealing with now that you see as a problem for the community health at Safari? It's a bit
Yeah.
controversial. I know,
No,
like you don't wanna, but floor is yours.
I think that the hardest thing about community building is perseverance. Um, I have so many people have asked me about what my community building playbook is for Safari, with the intent for them to design their own communities, and I have very willingly shared that over time. Um, but not that many people have gone on to take that advice and actually build a community. And I think that the reason is it's just a huge, huge grind. It's like being a content creator, except in some ways even worse. Of it is a 24/7 job. You have a lot of people that are, yeah, counting on you to support them. Um, it's like having a company of 300 people, but being a one-man show running that 300-person company. And so, yeah, I think that the not sexy part of community building is it's just wake up every day to support a group of people. And that's why I also have to take that leap of faith of the user-centric view, right? That the relationships that I'm building today will ultimately matter to our business in the future. I think that every community builder has to take that leap of faith. And so that is one part that is not that great in terms of like community health. I think that the community is very strong, by default of the way that we structure it. So for those that don't know, Safari is a private application-based community, and we take a group of 80 growth leaders into the community every 6 months. That is a structure that actually makes it easier to run a community in certain ways. A lot of the big problems of community building are having to sustain engagement over months, weeks, years, constantly. And so I think that the design of Safari actually solves some of this challenge that we don't have that other communities do. In that everyone joins Safari at the same time, with the same expectations, the same excitement, all at once. So I don't have to be like looking and making sure that I respond to every single message when somebody first joins the community and make sure they have a great experience, because we basically can concentrate that great experience into like a few weeks long, rather than someone being able to hop into your community at any moment in the day when your team might be asleep, for example. So I think that the structure of Safari's community makes the community health stronger, but it's always still a grind. Some calls we have, so we're a 300-person community. Some of the calls that we host have 80 people on them. Some have 15 people on them. So it is a constant challenge for attention, just like anything else. But I think that if you are flexible in what your community wants and desires, then you can create something really great together. And we just had a call yesterday actually about new community initiatives that people want to launch. And so that's any way that you can get community involved to the process, you'll be on the right track for creating something great.
That's awesome. I'm curious because it's quite a big community and it's constantly growing with this influx of new people. How big is the community team? I mean, obviously it's you, but I hope you have some people who are helping you out, because this is just
No, it's all me. There's
all
there's
you.
no
Oh
there's
my
no one
God.
else that works on Safari's community except for me.
That's some dedication.
Yeah, I talk to every single new person that joins Safari's community. So my schedule, like 2 weeks before a batch, will be like 10 to 12 calls every day for like 2 weeks with 80 new growth leaders.
But I respect that a lot, because that's how you build real relationships from the community perspective. But from founder, from business perspective, this doesn't sound scalable to me. So it's kind of like a lot of the founders get lost here because they want a really good and thriving community, but they don't have the time, or they don't want to spend time with it. I cannot even count how many founders I've talked to that I asked to be on Discord to at least show up, or like say GM once a day, or answer to a question once a day, and I always heard yes, 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 and then it never happens. And my response is just like, this is your brand, this is your community. Like, you have to also, I understand that you hire someone like us to work with it and make it better, but at the same time, one like personal connection goes such a long way that a moderator or community manager who would be there for you every second wouldn't like make up for that. So I have a lot of respect for founders who actually do spend time in their community, and I understand time how much resources, like time wise, you need to have for it to do it the right way.
Yeah, and I think it is about doing it the right way. I think that community is a very resource intensive channel, as we know. Uh, and that is why if you do it right, you do get really huge impact. But a lot of people sort of like skimp out, as you're saying, on the resources that they want to dedicate to community, and then it's not surprising that the results aren't there.
Yeah. So you have every cohort, you onboard a new batch of the growth leaders, while you have the members who are there all the time, virtually. How do you encourage the, one-to-one connections with the members? I mean, in one cohort, it's, more natural to connect with members, but there are other people, who came in other cohorts. How does that connection happen?
Yeah, so within a cohort, this is we do two really high touch resource intensive things at the beginning of a batch. The first thing is, as I mentioned, I talk to every single person that joins. The second thing is I use those conversations to think about who would be the most valuable person for that person to meet right now. And then I match every single new member with somebody completely different. So no two people get matched with another person. Um, and that starts to drive the interconnectedness within the community. Of our sort of like community hypothesis is if somebody joins Safari and they meet me and they like me, and then I introduce them to somebody and they like that person, then for the third, fourth, or fifth person that they reach out to or that reaches out to them, they're much more likely to accept the call, take the connection, and explore a genuine relationship with that person. And that drives more and more people knowing each other in our community. So that's one piece of it that happens as a result of onboarding. The second piece is we have community. Each batch basically exists as like a micro community. This is something that Blake and I have chatted about before. The batches 6 and 7, we started doing this differently, have their own Telegram groups. So they exist basically as their own Safari community. And then the way that they cross-pollinate is on our weekly calls. That's open to all members. And then our IRL events are also open to all members. So there's like an inside experience, and then there's like a wider community experience as well.
So the Telegram chat is a new initiative. How do you see that how is it different from the previous one where I assume it was a closed like Discord channel?
Yeah, we started as a Discord channel where people would, every new batch would join the same Discord community. We never had like batch specific channels. So it's sort of growing this experience as a whole. The challenge that we faced with that is that the community started to feel too big at a certain point was one challenge of like, I feel like you can maintain the vibes up to like a couple hundred people, but once you start to surpass a couple hundred people, then things start to break down. Things also, your relative understanding of how active that community is also breaks down too. If you have 5 people chatting in a community of 300, you're like, this thing is dead. If you have 5 people chatting in a community of 80, then it might look a little different to you. So that's another perspective too for why these smaller formats are better. People also feel more comfortable sharing and asking questions in these smaller formats. So it's not just going like to the whole industry worth of growth leaders. A lot of people felt self-conscious about posting too and sharing some of their ideas. The irony being, the self-consciousness was coming from like, I'm posting this to, the group of like basically the greatest growth leaders in crypto. The irony is obviously if they're part of that group, they're one of the greatest growth leaders in crypto. But people on the individual level often forget that. So that was one thing. And the second thing too is that past cohorts looked very different than new cohorts in terms of style of growth leader, type of company, and so it actually just made a lot more sense to have like more like and like be together directly, and people found a lot more value from each other as a result of that. So I think the TLDR here is like smaller is better for communities. This is sort of our way to both like strike the balance between keeping a small and intimate group while being able to scale Safari's community over time.
Yeah, the two trends that I'm seeing now, and also, from what you're talking, is the move from Discord to Telegram and the move from big to small, more niche communities. But with your in your case, the connection to the big community is still there. It's just less like sparse on the global level, and I see that throughout, like as a trend, moving from Discord to Telegram especially. So, and also another nugget that I really like that you do is the connection part. I'm pretty sure I saw some sort of tool for this before, but that was just for Slack. So I was hoping someone would build a tool where we could use it on Discord or Telegram that would just like, AI read the profile of this person on LinkedIn, X, and whatever, just scrape all the data from the internet, figure out, classify him somehow, and then connect it to the other individual through email, Telegram, or whatever their preferred like option is. The fact that you're doing it yourself is just, I mean, again, it's the way to do
Gotta
it,
hustle,
the way
baby.
to build these
Gotta
connections.
grind.
Yeah, yeah. So, like the
Sorry,
last
chat.
question that I have here.
I learned my internet is complete shit, so I'm just in and out. So just ignore me. I'm just gonna comment with
Chat.
unhinged commentary on the side here and there. Yeah, please.
Like, you know enough
Yeah.
about me to pick up the conversation wherever I'm like at the end of a topic, you know what I was going to say before.
We're just gonna pop in. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. We love it. All right, keep it rolling, please.
For
Yes.
the DAO tooling, do you use any sort of like Airtable maybe to classify members, or is it a spreadsheet, or we know Discord, Telegram, we know X. What is there? What's in the mix? Is there a Twitter scheduling tool? Are you going all in on LinkedIn soon, like some growth leaders have done recently? What's happening?
We manage Safari like from like a data perspective in Airtable, where we have like a CRM of members. I basically do that super manually, and then I also categorize them across a lot of different areas as a result to make it easy for me to filter through them. So for example, like I'll tag, this is the founder of a Web3 social company. This is the growth leader from a DeFi platform. Here are all the DeFi platforms. Here's the type of DeFi platform that they work at, so that I can really see, and that I do this process when I do the matching. So I can understand should these people go together or not. So that's sort of like our infrastructure, really just Airtable. We don't use any other tools.
Can we just like pause real quick and give a big thanks to Airtable, because we also run our entire backend infra off Airtable, and it's just like
not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but listen, if Airtable's listening, I want to be mad. Like they can come in and give us some free credits, because that shit's expensive, I will say, but powerful.
Is there a Web3 version?
Connects to everything. Yeah, where's the Web3 Airtable? Come on, someone's got to build it. Put it on chain. Just kidding. Don't do that. I don't want all that data out there. But, maybe put it like a ZK proof or something. Make it private. Anyways, just some commentary. We love Airtable. +1 to that. Yes.
Yeah.
Back to you.
So Airtable is where we receive all of our applications, and then where all my chats with members go. I am like a copious note taker. So every conversation I've had with any of you is written down in this Airtable, fully sorted, often rated as well. I rate chats that I have with people.
Oh
Wait,
my
this is scary. I don't like this.
What's Blake's score?
We don't need to disclose that here.
Blake's kind of mid. No, it's just like
do you use any AI?
I've been secretly recording all of our combos. Yeah.
I don't record. Just write down.
So no AI note takers that help you, like you're like anti-tech community builder. All manual, everything in your head.
Yeah.
Rating conversations. That's interesting.
It's kind of important, though. I just want to give a big shout out to Justin, because, we kind of do things similarly. And I think, with AI note takers, nowadays I do use one, But honestly, like, I don't look at those fucking notes ever. You know, like, I only really use it to like share, like, hey, here's a meeting I had. Go watch this video so I don't have to like explain everything to you. But like, I don't think I would love to like actually, Justin, you should do this. Is like you should do a poll in Safari and ask all the members like, hey, if you use AI note takers, how many of you actually like read the notes? And I would bet that like a majority, like 80 to 90% of people don't fucking even look at them. We just do it because I guess it helps us feel good. I don't know. This
Yeah.
is some side
Versus
commentary.
I actually
Yeah.
when I do write notes, I definitely go
Yeah.
back and look at them all the time. But I definitely agree with your take. If I had an AI note taker, probably wouldn't. The other thing is like my memory's pretty bad, so when I'm actually writing notes, it makes me remember things better, and then I'm also like visually looking at our conversation and know which points I want to go back to talk about when people are talking. So I don't
Oh
remember
No,
how we
yeah.
but
got. Oh, we're talking about community infrastructure.
yeah.
Yeah, I think manual is the way. Int There are tools that help you introduce members together. I The Slack one that you're thinking about might be Donut. We used that like extensively at my last company, which was just like a really great organic way for people in the company to get to know each other and meet people across departments that might not know each other. I think for that type of thing, it's great. For community, I think that especially in crypto, time is such a limited resource, and so
Yeah.
the more hyper specific you can be to encourage two people to chat with each other, the more likely they are to accept a match. And especially for
Hmm.
Safari's demographic, and the same is true for Myosin. The
Yeah.
growth leaders are super, super busy people, probably some of the busiest people in crypto. So getting them to do something that isn't
Yeah.
directly related to their job is a huge lift. So if I can say to somebody, hey, this company that is thinking deeply about brand strategy and
Yeah.
you are really good at brand strategy, like things that I wouldn't have known, that I could have possibly not known except from talking to each of these individuals, I think are the basis for why people accept and ultimately go through with these matches more than like, you went to Harvard and you went to Stanford and now you
Yeah.
both are Web3 marketers, and thus you might want to have a conversation because you might have things in common. Um, you know, yeah,
It's a
it's like,
match.
That's that secret sauce.
yeah, yeah,
Justin, have you talked to Tom and Eden at all? Did we talk about this?
I
Quick
think so.
plug for Eden. Tom is amazing. We are hanging out in Brussels a lot. We're working with Eden in terms of like our vetting, staffing, and talent management for the community. But I can tell you, he's working on kind of like an AI powered version of Donut. It's not gonna like I don't think it'll completely replace what you're doing, but it could be helpful. So you guys should definitely chat. I know for a fact he's thinking about how can we facilitate those one-to-one comms and connections. At least like make it easier, right? Because like if you want to scale this bad boy, it's going to be really hard at a certain point to. It'll only go
Yeah.
so far, right? So,
Oh,
anyways,
I did talk to Tom,
something to think about.
but I didn't know his
Oh, you
company
did?
was
Okay.
called Eden. Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Um,
There you go. He's great. Yeah,
yeah, great guy.
sharp guy. Sharp
Um,
guy.
I definitely agree. I think it's high touched matching at first, and then sort of more organic
Yeah.
would be good.
Oh yeah. All right, we should talk about some other
I'm
stuff here.
coming with
Yeah,
another segment. Yeah, because we need
let's
to
do it.
move along. I want to talk about a bit about the Farcaster a bit, because when they introduced not blinks, oh my god, what is this non-blink
Frames, blink.
frames? Yeah, when they introduced
The
frames,
OG
everybody
blinks.
was talking about Farcaster. Every brand wanted to be on Farcaster, and around the same time, I saw Justin tweet about Farcaster being, the next X. More and more brands coming in. We need to put a growth playbook. Let's all come together and put together our thoughts. So I actually had a pleasure of contributing on the rainbow side of things in the book. So since then, it's been what, like 3 months. Where do you think Farcaster is now? What's the state of brand there? 'Cause I feel like more life came to Twitter recently again, back from Farcaster. So curious to hear your thoughts about it as well.
Yeah, I think I think that Farcaster is still a very interesting and viable channel for people to explore. I think that the reason why I like Farcaster over previous sort of attempts at Web3 social is that it really does bring everything together in a concrete way, both from an attribution and data perspective. There's so much data on X that we just can't see, right? You can't see, you don't know who's an impression or what an impression means. You're looking at your Twitter analytics and you're like, I don't even know if these things, like what's really going on here. And a lot of that is available out of the box in Farcaster, in new and exciting ways to leverage that data and leverage direct relationships with users. And so that's why I got really excited about Farcaster. I would agree with you that I think that in the last couple weeks in particular, X has definitely had like a revitalization in crypto. I'm not exactly sure why that is, though if if my feed is any indication, I feel like X is pushing a lot of like mid-level, not like mid-level, like mid-size creators more than I had previously seen. So I'm seeing a lot of like content going semi-viral from people with like 2 to 5,000 followers or 2 to 10,000 followers in my crypto circle that I wasn't seeing before. And I think that that actually is making X a lot more interesting for me and maybe other people as well. Maybe more interesting, but also the opportunity to gain traction as a mid-sized creator is going up. And that means that mid-sized creators are more apt to invest in the channel as a result. So I think that if I was a growth leader right now, which I pseudo am, I would be spending more time looking into Twitter than Farcaster in this current moment.
Are you active
Ooh,
on
hot take.
Farcaster at all? I'm not, so I don't know.
I'm active on both. Yeah.
How do you find the time, man? I always struggle to keep up with Twitter. I'm like, now I got to do Farcaster too, and then they got Lens, and you got all the other ones. It's exhausting. Yeah.
I mean, I
It's the
think the
one.
key for me with content is content scheduling tools. I
Yeah.
write content probably once every 2 weeks. I'll write 2 weeks worth of content and I'll schedule it out to go out on both Farcaster
Mm.
and on Twitter and on LinkedIn. Um,
Are you using Yup
so
or Typefully, or what are you using, or both?
I use Typefully for Twitter and LinkedIn, and I
Yeah.
use Supercast for
Uh,
Farcaster.
nice, nice, nice. Or I guess
But then
Supercast
you
for
have to check
broadcasting.
in.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
Go
mean,
ahead.
you schedule out content, but then you have to still check in on every platform every day to see who replied to you. And because I see you on the timeline all the time. And I mean, rightfully so because I engage with content, but also I just feel like you are constantly there. And my problem is that, for example, I'm okay with writing out content a lot. Like, let's say every week I sit down on a weekend and then I just write it. But then coming back to it and engaging in conversations is a lot of, like, I need some space in my head for this. And oftentimes I'm putting down some fires or on brand channels because I work a lot with social media as well. And then when it comes to my channel, I'm just exhausted, honestly. So I wonder, because I heard before that it's very beneficial to block out like 30 minutes of your time, let's say in the morning and in the evening when you go back to your platforms and do all of the engagement and whatnot. What's your strategy?
Yeah, I don't do that. I also hear that from like every, every I can't think of like a cute name for those types of people who write those types of threads on Twitter or LinkedIn, but I don't do that. Basically, I schedule this content out weeks in advance, and then in between meetings randomly, I'll check Twitter, X, LinkedIn, etc., um, and just write random thoughts to respond to comments. But yeah, it's super casual. I don't do it in 30-minute chunks. I basically wait till I get inspired to write, and then I write. And within a 2-week period, I will get inspired for one day, but probably only one day, which is why I can't be like that type of content creator that like creates content every day. I think that there are not that many of those people in the world, truly, that can write, produce, yeah, high
Yeah.
quality things every day, or
Although
even mid
I
shout
level
out
think
to
it
quality.
was
shout out to T-Pen on that one, because he, what was
He's
it
an
last
exception.
year? He like, what was it like every day? What was his streak? He
every
he
day.
lasted for quite a while,
Every
like a
day.
year, I think.
I think he did
Yeah, it was
every day for 100 days. Yeah. And
damn.
like for
That's
those that are listening, he writes not tweets, he writes long form articles. So a long form
yeah,
article every day for 100 days is insane.
fucking grind, man. Yeah, he's a
He
legend.
likes to write, so that's that. But then he's also a great thinker, so I'm not sure how his writing process is, but to some people it might come naturally, um, and it's like a just a muscle that you build out. So it's a really amazing challenge. Like if you um, read Dickie Bush on Twitter. That's something that he recommends. Like write a bit every day. I mean, obviously not long form. That's very very advanced. But it's a muscle that you can train, and I do think that putting out content that's high quality every day, just that you have to come up with things. Like most days you're in a different state of mind and there's no inspiration sometimes. Now we have AI that could help with a blank page sort of, and keep you going. But back in the day when Twitter had stories, and like on Instagram stories, when creators basically have to create a storyline throughout what they're doing in the day and then plug in their product somehow to sell, like all these courses and whatnot. This is all very much like a well-built machine in the back, whereas it looks very effortless on the front.
Yeah. I agree. And I do uh sympathize with those the content creators who create that type of content. I think that these types of things, like with anything, if you do it every day, I think that you'll naturally get better at it. But just for me, I can't, as a founder, do everything every day. I have
You,
to
you have a community
sort
to
of
run, you
time
got a
block my
product to
time.
build, you got content to create. Like you're already doing a
I,
lot, my friend. So kudos to you. Yeah,
I do community every day, but I can't do
yeah.
community and content every day and run a business.
It's exhausting, dude. Exhausting.
But also, I mean, X, LinkedIn, and Farcaster is also a way for you to keep in touch with the community, right? Because they're all in there.
Yeah,
That's probably how they found Safari, like most likely. So you can justify being on the timeline and engaging with people as work and community building.
yeah,
So
and
good,
ecosystem building as well. I think a lot of
right?
founders forget that as, we're not just building a product. You have to build and contribute to the ecosystem around you for that product to be successful.
Mm.
Value added it, baby.
I Where does I saw that you recently changed the bio to Chief Yapper at Safari.
Yeah,
Where did the yapping come from? Because I see it everywhere. I kind of wanna use it as well because it's just like such a good word. But then, where do the roots come from? I feel like I'm missing that part.
I think Blake would probably know. I have no idea where it originally came from.
Where does yapping come from? That I think I like read an article about that the other day. It's some kind of like very specific lingo that there was people are writing about this now. Someone wrote a piece talking about content marketing. Someone wrote an article about yapping. I'm gonna Google it. I'll find the source for y'all. But I think it's just like I think it's like what Justin talking about. It's like it's such a small industry, and like I think for founders to be successful, um,
You have to yap.
it's like so yeah, have to yeah it's a founder led industry. It's like why people like Mert on Solana, like he just yaps all day, right? But it works because everyone fucking knows who he is. Everyone knows who Helios is, although they all think he also runs Helium and Helio, and they have a naming issue. I don't know. They need some brand help, but maybe it's the meme is too good. But yeah, I mean, that's all it is it's such a trust-based industry, I think, because it's so small. So the more you yap and the more you kind of just put your face out there, the more familiar you are, the more people trust you. Assuming your yapping is of some quality, or it's just shit yapping and people love it anyways. I don't
or
know.
fun.
Depends. Yeah. Depends what you're yapping
I
about.
totally agree. It's a trust building exercise for sure. But I also think the community can replace this to a certain degree. My focus is definitely more on community than content. And if you like scroll through my Twitter, you'll see that I basically didn't post for like 6 months. But people might not have realized that. I really only started posting again in the last like month or so when I saw the algorithm start ticking back up. Thought that it might be higher ROI for me, and it's been pretty good so far. But yeah, it's just too much. There's too much to do, too many things to do everything at once. And I think I do get the trust building element strong enough through community without having to be a yapper. But now I'm a yapper, hence the title change.
Yappers. Yep.
I thought
okay.
I thought it came after Brussels because I saw also Winnie posted something from Chip Social that to be a founder you have to yap. It's basically your full time, like one of your full time job descriptions.
She's not wrong.
Queen of yapping.
Yeah, very good at yapping.
Jeez.
But then, it's funny, and this is not calling Winnie out, but this is like I think Winnie or someone else posted this recently as well, which is we love Winnie, we love Chips. No, this was someone posting about like it's a funny thing where like if someone is, and it makes sense, if you're yapping really well on Twitter, oftentimes you meet them in person and you're like, they're just the quietest people of all time, because it's that whole like online versus offline personality, right? Like the people who are really maybe IRL not so good, they just like go full unhinged and just go yep. Then you meet them in person, and you're like, oh, this is the person. Like, this is not what I expected. It's always an interesting balance, and sometimes they just yap all the time. I don't know. Yeah. By the way, fun fact: I found the etymology of yapping. So. Sorry, I'm like processing how to say this the most efficiently. So number one, yap as a term actually comes in the 1600s to describe a small dog and like the barking it does. And it just kept evolving for like 200, 1400 years or 400 years, I guess. Basically, it's just like TikTok and Gen Z. They're like bringing back all these like weird terms and they're just like yapping away on TikTok. And then it's just like, cultural zeitgeist, right? Like you start posting TikToks about yapping, and then it goes to crypto Twitter, and then it goes to Twitter, then crypto Twitter, and then look where we are. We're all just yapping away on chain reactions now.
I thought it was a crypto Twitter trend, not a TikTok Gen Z trend.
Everything good on the internet came from TikTok.
And that's what I was gonna say. All roads lead back to TikTok.
Are the Zoomers of adopting these Gen Z terms for our own crypto use cases.
We're just trying to be cool, man. We're just trying to yap. Trying to get it done.
Wait till Twitter is gonna get a video feed, and then it's all just gonna blend in together.
Yo, I mean, Telegram has the stories.
Already at it.
That was, I mean, Justin, you and Polina, you guys now follow me on Instagram, so you see how active I am there. But like when Telegram during Brussels, I was seriously considering like, should I just like do that same level on Telegram? Because I think there's a Telegram hack there, because I don't think very few people are actually posting on their Telegram stories. So I think there's a real opportunity if you're like smart about it to like take over like crypto Telegram, I guess, during conference week. So I don't know. Justin, we should scheme.
It's a good way to remind about yourself.
Next conference. Yeah.
I'll throw some attribution links.
You got to yap
for us
on
and
Telegram.
You can measure it.
Yes.
Definitely.
I love it. For the next conference. Polina, should we do like this or that? or how you want to run this?
Yeah, let's do that. We'll just because the other segment is too big like for now. So this or that is just like a fun. I mean, honestly, it should have been in the beginning like an icebreaker, but we kind of just rolled into the meat straight away, so left it for the end. So this or that. A question for you, I guess for everyone anyway. Would you rather work with an established brand with all its baggage, or help grow a small but like a brand with a lot of potential from scratch? Let's say on X, right? You're talking about working with, I don't know, like pudgy penguins, for example, because they're here, and or some other, whether that's an NFT or whichever small project, but it has really good tech, like bulletproof, but it starts from zero. What would you be more excited about? Or I guess where do you see more potential?
This is
Safe
a hard
or
one
take the bet?
because actually I think my answer changes for in crypto versus not in crypto. Like not in crypto, I have always loved working with small, like up and comer brands that were didn't, and that I think is where I find a lot of my satisfaction. Um, but in crypto, I think if I was like betting my career on it, I would probably want to work for somewhat of an established brand, like a
So
DEX
what you're
that's been
telling me,
around.
Justin, is you want to go work for Solana? No, I'm kidding. There's someone else.
Not that
Yeah.
big, yeah, but
All right.
like a brand that already exists.
Fair enough. Wait,
Blake,
do I get to
Helena.
play, or is
Blake?
this just Justin? Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course you do.
As someone
Do I get
who's
to play?
recently had to do both, I'm pretty
You get to
tired
play.
of yeah, I get to play. I think like, well, it's funny, like when you talked about like grow a killer brand and you were talking about NFT, I was like, that's Bearchain. Like building a new brand from scratch, because Bearchain, remember, started as an NFT project. I forget the High Bears or whatever, the Stoner Bears or whatever, and it became like a real chain and a real project. So yeah, if I could have been in on the ground level and helping get Bearchain right there, like I think that'd be amazing. Frankly speaking, I'm
Yeah,
more
but you're
jaded
saying it
from
now
working with
because
a lot of
Chain is
brands.
Yeah,
massive.
I was about to say that puts you
No,
in
but I'm
the
saying
pink
like,
That's
square
not fair.
category.
listen, that was the scenario you gave to me, and I can't help but use the mental models I have. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just a little tired of working with bigger brands because they move a little slow. They don't move as like. There's a lot of challenges that come with. There are pros and cons to everything. That's all I'll say. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. So I'll stick with the
Helena, what's your
small
answer?
guys for now. Yeah.
I'm torn as well. I would also like in Web2 choose the smaller brand. But in Web3, like there's been times where, I would talk to founders and we would really like connect over the call and, would help them out during the call and they would be like, yes, 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 this is what we need. Yes. I would, write a pitch or even like a plan, because I usually tend to go like far, like get really excited and go far beyond like what I'm supposed to go. But then you talk to them and you kind of show them the smaller brands that you worked with and the content that you put out, and no matter how good the content is, they're like, oh, so it's just that. It's like you haven't worked with Solana or I don't know, someone like really big or established. I'm like, no, but does that really matter? Because you see the quality of an output, or for some it does. I think it mattered less like maybe a year or two ago when it was all very new and it was kind of a YOLO environment. Now it's definitely more like
Wait, you're
selective.
telling me
So
money doesn't fall from trees anymore, and SBF isn't just pumping our bags? Damn. Soon enough, the Fed will do that. Don't worry.
yeah,
The money
well,
printing machine will
we'll
be
check
back.
up. We'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow everything can change. So.
I'm a little sad we
Okay.
didn't get to talk about Kamala Harris maybe going to the Bitcoin conference and then not going, but we'll leave that for another week. Sorry, back to you.
Wait, she's not going?
No, I think there are rumors, and then they had a conversation. It sounds. I think the latest is that it's not happening. Yeah.
Okay.
Bearish.
So
But we'll see.
here I had
Back
the own a Pudgy versus own an Azuki. Azuki was like, I was trying to figure out what would be a good counter for Pudgy Penguins, just because they're so
there is no
loud right now.
alternative. Pudgy's all the way. Yeah.
I'm also Pudgy's all the way, but I'm too poor for a Pudgy.
You had to pick up a little.
That's why Blake has a little Pudgy.
Yeah.
I'll get a fractionalized Pudgy.
Let's go.
I would also get a Pudgy. I'm very, very bullish. Okay, next one. Would you rather, like, working with a brand or, on your own brand now, would you rather have killer organic content or killer KOL support but shit content? I'm talking like hashtags in every tweet, like links, visuals that are AI generated with just like slapped on text.
But I want to hear Justin's thoughts first.
Organic all the way. Even if I think that you can even make it, I think it's too clear of an answer, at least for me in this current form. I think that the maybe a better question would just be have killer organic content or have killer KOL support. Just like drop the shit content part. I think that's like a spicy question. Like, would you rather be really great at talking about yourself or have other people be really great at talking about you? Is kind of the question there. So I'm reinterpreting your question, but I still think I would go organic. Better to have like really strong brand voice.
Blake?
So I completely agree. Killer organic is better. But if I were like a meme coin shiller living in Romania, just trying to like pump my bags, I would do the killer KOL shit. Make a cool 100 mil and then rug everyone and disappear. So, but I would never do that. So I'm just like, not coming. I'm just saying hypothetically.
Make notes, everyone.
This isn't recording anything, right?
In Europe on
That's actually why I'm in Spain. Like you don't know where. Actually, sorry, I'm in Ireland right now. This is I'm in an Irish villa. You can find me in Dublin. So yeah. I think organic, but in an alternative reality, maybe the KOL stuff we'd have to think about. Paulina?
Yeah, I would go with organic as well, just because
this was like a setup.
Would want to be no, but because I deal with organic content, right? And I had recently a situation where a brand that I was working with, they kind of reshuffled the way that the channels are handled. So I wasn't in charge of the channel that I was in charge initially of, and the content just went to shambles. And I took it personally quite a bit, because I feel like I want to be proud of the content that I put out for, even if it's not my brand. I just want to feel proud of it, and I'm not the type of person who would, even let shit content through with all the hashtags and everything. It's just like, it grinds my gears too much. So I can't pass that. It's like a principle.
Too good. All right, we should round this out because I think we're running over time a little bit here.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Last one. Because this one we already have. Would you rather tattoo your seed phrase, or you would memorize it with the risk of forgetting it?
Whoa.
This is just a fun random one.
That's like a Reddit question. Would I tattoo my seed phrase? I would memorize it. I don't. Yeah. Uh-oh. Did my audio cut out?
No, we can hear you. Yeah, I agree with memorize too.
Oh well. Yeah, me too. We're all boring and not radical enough.
I guess it wasn't that hard. We're all like, no, I'm not getting that tattoo.
No, I'm sure there are people who would. I mean, look at me here, but it's just...
Yeah.
I mean, tattooing it, that's like a huge operational security risk.
Giant risk. Anyone you
Somebody
sleep
just
with
kidnaps you. Yeah, or
yeah.
you sleep with.
You don't have to sleep. You're on the beach, and then, You're at a sauna.
But it doesn't have to be in one
your
place, you know, it can be here, 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 and only you know, like the, how it goes.
That's
Now
so
that could be
public memory,
cool.
though. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, then you'd be like, what's
Now
the
Blake
order
is
of, like,
debating.
yeah. It's like first, like it's kind of like the Macarena, you know, where it's like, was it head and then shoulders? So then you gotta like do a dance to figure out your seed phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, having a treasure map on your body.
Yeah, guys, that's the next.
Okay,
You know, like
pretty fun.
what's the thing they have the ERC, like the tattoo DAO where you like tattoo on ERC 721. That's the next version, but you have to get multiple tattoos, and we have a dance that we do together. Yeah, you can. I'm gonna do that, so don't steal it. All right, cool, thanks. That's
Thanks.
the evolution of tattoo DAO. You're welcome, or ink DAO, I guess. V2.
That's all
We
from
do
me.
bigger.
Thank you
Awesome.
for
amazing.
playing my silly game.
No, that was
Thanks for
great.
leading us through it.
Hell yeah.
We missed one segment, but we'll come back to it next week. So
Yeah, we'll reach out, and
It's a good one.
it'll be fun. We're really bullish on Story Protocol as the alpha, and excited to chat about it next week, and hopefully we'll get some from the team. We reached out this morning, so we'll see. But as always, come back Wednesday 11 a.m. Eastern. Big shout out to Justin here, the homie, for coming through. You know, shooting the shit, talking
and sharing the
about
alpha of how
Safary
he
and
handles Safari.
Thanks for having me.
TLDR,
This was fun.
the TLDRs, we're all just using Airtable. We're all using Web3 tools to build our Web3 companies. But, you know, it gets the job done.
They work.
It works. Step one, make it work. Cool. So with that, I'm going to go enjoy the beautiful waters of Dublin, Ireland. And I will see you guys on the internet.
Dublin. See you on the
find me
internet.
if you can.
Thanks,
And
Justin.
we'll see you guys on the internet. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks, Pauline and Blake. Later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.